Hi, I'm Mary, Sculptor Kevin Caron's lovely assistant, and I am talking to you today about how to market your art. We get a lot of questions from people about how Kevin does what he does. It's not the right way for everybody, obviously, but it's what's worked for us, and we're glad to share. We've talked about the business side of running an art career, and we've talked about some of the aspects of marketing, which is mostly what I do for Kevin. One thing we get a lot of questions about is galleries. And people naturally associate galleries with art. However, things are changing. Galleries have been weakened, surprisingly to me, with the internet. So what about galleries? Well, they're not for every artist. You really have to match it up to what your goals are. And some artists, they like selling direct because they like being in contact with their patrons directly. When you work with a gallery, you often don't know who bought your art. When you sell direct, you're able to contact those people over again, and your best prospects are people who already know and love your work. But if galleries do fit into your business plan and make the most sense for you, they're a great way to sell art because they reach people that you might not be able to reach. Now, Kevin does sell a lot of art online, but he's in galleries as well. And indeed, he reaches customers who didn't know about him, even though perhaps they live in Phoenix. They might go to the gallery in Prescott and discover Kevin there. So being in galleries has helped Kevin as well as selling directly online. Some galleries don't like that. They'll say, we won't deal with you if you sell online. It may not be the gallery for you. But the big question is, how do you get into a gallery? And the answer is, believe it or not, go to the gallery and talk to them. Now, this can be a little bit uncomfortable. You might have to get out of your regular comfort zone to do this. I would. Now, you want to make sure it's a gallery that carries the kind of work that you do, or that your work complements the work that's in there. If it's a sculpture gallery and you paint, do not waste your time or theirs. You can research galleries online. You can learn a lot about them, but nothing will tell you as much as going into the gallery and talking to the people who are there. Obviously, if they're busy, you don't want to bother them, but otherwise engage them in conversation. What are they looking for? What kinds of work sells well there? Is there anything they wish they had that they don't have? And eventually, the conversation is going to get around to the fact that you're an artist and you have art to sell. And that's great because you want to have a conversation, you want to have a connection. So what are you going to show them if you just walk in? You might have a wonderful portfolio on your website and a screen big enough that you can show them your work on your website, or you may have a little brochure, you may have a portfolio. I wouldn't walk in carrying your portfolio, but you could offer to go back out to the car and get it. So hopefully that discussion will lead to getting a gallery that works for you. A good example is recently Kevin went to Santa Fe and he just went from gallery to gallery to gallery. He would look at the gallery, he would see if it was a good match, and he would engage in conversation with the people there. And eventually it came around to the fact that he was an artist, he was looking for a gallery, and he probably went to a dozen galleries before somebody finally said, I love this work and I would love to carry it. Then, of course, are all the other issues with the gallery. You need to absolutely, positively look at their agreement, and every gallery should have an agreement. If they don't, you want to make an agreement, and you want to talk about issues like what happens if they send somebody to you. What percentage do they get then? And obviously, what percentage do they get for any sale? What kind of promotion do they do? Do they have insurance? Really important question, because if something gets broken or lost, whose responsibility is it? But most of all, it's shoe leather. Get out there and look at different galleries, and then you do have to check in with them and both keep the work fresh and also make sure that everything is there. So you want to do inventory now and then. What about art shows? Are art shows for you? They are a great way to reach people directly, to meet people, talk to them, show them your work, explain to them how you made your work. Now, if you're not a people person, this may not be the most fun thing you ever did. But if you like interacting with people, and again, if your business plan suggests that selling directly is a good idea, these kinds of art shows are really wonderful. Where do you find out about shows? There are a lot of places out there that you can look. Artopportunities.org. This is a place where you can find out about shows all over the country. Talk to other artists. Know what's going on in your community, and you'll find out about shows. There are also shows and exhibits. If someone says this is an exhibit, it probably is not about selling your work. If your goal is to have your work sold, then you want to do a show. The terminology may vary a little bit, but you want to look carefully at the information to decide, is this for me? So let's say yes, art shows fit into your business plan, they fit your personality, and you really want to do them. What kind of art shows? There are many different kinds. There are the ones that set up on weekends in parking lots, and they can be a great way to sell your work if your work is appropriate and that's where your audience goes. Or you may want to have a more traditional art show, let's say at a gallery or at some really cool place in your city that people might want to come and visit. Whatever you're doing, you have to let people know that there is an art show, and you have to focus on why they want to come to your art show. The fact that you have new art, well, that's interesting to you, but maybe you had a big breakthrough and they want to come and see something that they've never seen before. How do you promote? Public relations. Want articles in various publications where your customers, your patrons are going to be looking, whether it's the local newspaper, local TV, it might be magazines. It really is based on your audience and your art. You can also advertise. Advertising hasn't worked very well for Kevin, so we tend to not do advertising, but there are times when it works really well. Obviously, social media is another way to get the word out. When I'm promoting a show for Kevin, I start weeks in advance, and I start saying, oh, he's working on this wonderful piece, and you're going to be able to see this at the new art show. Maybe we're setting up the show. We would show video or stills of, hey, look what's happening here. Wait till you see it's all set up. So as we get closer to the show date itself, we're doing more and more promotion. Not trying to be obnoxious, but trying to build some excitement to give people a reason why they would want to come to the show. You have a good mailing list. You want to send out a postcard to people who will want to come to your show. I will promise you that you will reach people with that postcard that would not come otherwise. And if you don't have a mailing list, start one today. How do you put one together? Obviously, anybody who's ever bought from you should be on the mailing list. But also, how about people you want to come? They may be people who run galleries. They may be people who are local art buyers that you know about. They may just be prominent people that you want to have come to an event. And then, of course, as people contact you, whether or not they buy, you can put them on your mailing list, your print mailing list, not your electronic mailing list, which is just considered bad form, otherwise known as spam. You've set your show up. Everything looks fantastic. You have labels for each of your pieces that show how much it cost, and also, of course, the title. Sometimes people put on there the material it's made from and how it was created, the actual dimensions. There are different information you can put on that label. So what about price? Some artists are adamant that the price is the price. Of course, again, you've got your wholesale price and your retail price, and they say never undersell yourself. Whatever that price is, stick to it. Other people are willing to haggle a little bit. Some galleries even have it built right into their contract that they have a 10% buffer where they can work with people a little bit without asking whether they can charge less. We have galleries call us and say, I have somebody here, they want to pay less, and it really just depends on the situation. Has that piece been around for a while? Is the price fair? But it's a good thing for you to have in your head before people start asking you, okay, your show is over and you're done, right? No, you're not done. Maybe somebody expressed interest in a piece and then walked away. You might just follow up with them. The other important thing is to make notes about the show. If you had food, how much food did you use? If you saw some things that could be done better next time, like more signs or different signs, make notes when it's fresh in your mind. So I hope this has given you some helpful tips about working with galleries and having art shows. Of course, if you have any questions or you'd like to share your own experiences, please make some notes down there below. And visit Kevin's website to see his work, and you'll see why he is so successful. Thanks so much. I hope you visit his site, www.